Live from WFSB, Connecticut's #1 local news, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 7.
And good morning. It is 7 o'clock. I'm Irene O'Connor. We're following our top headlines this morning. First, we turn to the latest on the coronavirus here in our state. The latest numbers show that more than 8,200 tests were performed. Since yesterday, 121 came back positive. That is a positivity rate of 1.5%. 4 more people have died, and there were no new hospitalizations in the last day. Well, COVID cases are climbing in the capital city just 1 month into the school year. Soon, Hartford Public Schools could transition to a hybrid learning system because of the spike in cases. The positivity rate in Hartford is 2.6%.
That we're preparing families for the possibility, and it right now feels like it might be a strong possibility that that shift is coming.
In the meantime, city officials say they're increasing testing across the city, increasing testing on school properties, and working on in-school testing. At the University of New Haven, hundreds, including an entire dorm, are under quarantine after multiple students tested positive for COVID-19. University officials say at least 1 case was traced to an unauthorized off-campus large gathering over the weekend.
If we're not safe, things like that can happen where, someone contracts it and they just bring it back, and then all of a sudden you have a whole outbreak on a school campus.
In all, 347 students, including 222 students in the Winchester dorm, will be quarantined. It looks like fewer Americans are willing to try to get a COVID-19 vaccine. According to a new CNN poll, a little more than half of Americans plan to get vaccinated. 51% of them said that they would go for a vaccine if it was widely available at a low cost. That's a huge drop from the 66% of the people who said the same thing back in May. Health experts warn that if enough people forego a vaccine, the U.S. may not be able to reach herd immunity against the coronavirus. Well, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The pandemic has impacted so many aspects of our lives, and it has also led to a decrease in the number of women getting routine tests. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Aya Galal has more on the message doctors have.
About 1 in 8 United States women will develop invasive breast cancer over the course of her lifetime. When breast cancer is detected early, it can be treated more successfully, increasing the chances of survival. But amid the pandemic, more women are skipping routine exams. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Dr. Bridget Killeley, a breast cancer surgeon with Hartford Healthcare, says this is an important time to remind women to go in for routine screening mammograms.
We've told our patients back in the spring, in March, that we thought it was best for them to postpone or to reschedule their annual mammogram. And we know that a certain number of those screening mammograms would have ultimately resulted in a diagnosis of breast cancer.
Since the pandemic started, Dr. Killeley says there has also been a significant decrease in the number of women getting genetic testing and also surgery for breast cancer.
Aya Galal, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Well, we have some new information this morning. Police say a 25-year-old man who is a student at Yale School of Law was killed after he was hit by a truck while riding his bike. It happened yesterday, shortly after 4 o'clock in the afternoon near Yale University. The truck driver stayed on that scene. Right now, there's no word on any possible charges for that driver.
All right, we are in early warning weather alert mode as the wind is going to become increasingly stronger as the day moves forward in time. We do have a wind advisory up for the entire state. It goes into effect at 2 o'clock this afternoon, runs until 2 o'clock in the morning. Winds could gust 45 to 55 miles an hour, perhaps even some gusts higher than that. So given the fact that we've yet to see leaf drop, we've got fully leafed trees. That means that wind could take down some branches, some trees, and that could lead to some isolated scattered power outages. So that's, again, late this afternoon through the evening time frame. Right now, though, the winds across the state, they're southwesterly, not too terribly strong. In fact, calm in a few spots, but that wind direction is going to help to boost temperatures today well into the 70s. And again, that wind gets stronger as we head toward and through the afternoon hours. So right now we've got very mild temperatures, mid and upper 50s inland, 60 to 65 along the Connecticut shoreline, nowhere near the average low of 44 for the 7th day of October. And look at that sun on its way up 10 minutes ago, cresting the horizon at 6:55. There's our view from Hartford, showing some scattered mid and high level clouds. Similar scene coming in from New Haven as well as from New London. Just a stellar start to the day. Absolutely gorgeous, picturesque, looking live from New London and as well from Middletown downstream there of the Connecticut River. So there were a couple sprinkles that worked through the state during the early overnight hours. Those have since moved out. We've got the partial clearing underway. Morning clouds will give way to some afternoon or late morning, early afternoon clearing, I should say. Then we are tracking a disturbance, an area of low pressure that's moving out of the Great Lakes toward northern New England. So the most potent part of the storm system likely passing to the north of Connecticut, but it will swing a cold front across Connecticut later on this evening. Behind it, the wind switches to the northwest and cooler air filters into the state. But as the front approaches and moves through, there's the chance for an isolated shower, perhaps a thunderstorm, and any that do develop could produce a gusty wind. So again, morning clouds give way to some clearing as we head towards, say, 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon, points thereafter. For the evening commute, you can see how the spotty nature of the showers will be developing. We could certainly use rain. We desperately need it given the deficits and the drought situation that we have, but the showers that pop up are going to be few and far between. The front's offshore as the sun is setting, and then cooler, drier air is on tap for the day tomorrow with plenty of sunshine as high pressure builds in for our Thursday. So this afternoon, 70 to 75 should do it for high temperatures across the state, perhaps a little bit cooler, upper 60s in the Northwest Hills, 74 for Hartford, 72 New Haven, 70 our forecast high for New London. And of course, we're monitoring very closely as well Delta. Yesterday, our 25th named storm of the season rapidly intensified, became a Category 4 storm. It's down a little bit in intensity, Cat 2 as of right now. The most recent update, winds of 110 miles an hour as it is making its way toward Cancun and as it works over the northeastern tip of the Yucatan Peninsula, weakening a little bit, but then is forecast to re-strengthen to a major hurricane, Cat 3, Cat 4 perhaps, as it approaches Louisiana on Friday. So this will be our 5th landfalling U.S. hurricane so far for the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season. And then as we head toward and through the weekend, some of that remnant moisture heads up in our general direction. So here in Connecticut on our 7-day forecast tomorrow, 60 to 65, windy, ample sunshine. That wind diminishes early Friday morning. Temperatures drop into the mid-30s, so a frosty start for some Friday morning. That will be a rude awakening. Mid-60s on Friday, and then that cool weather, it's short-lived. We're back in the mid-70s with a southerly flow developing on over the first half of the weekend. Mid-70s, windy with a mix of sun and clouds. There's a chance for a shower Saturday night with the passage of a cold front behind that, about 10 degrees cooler for Sunday, mid-60s. And then again, with regard to Delta, some of that remnant moisture may work in up our direction for Columbus Day Monday. Some of our models bring it into southern New England. Some keep it farther to our south with high pressure deflecting it away from us. So we'll keep you updated on that. Shoreline highs tomorrow and as well for Friday, mid-60s, back briefly into the 70s on Saturday, then 60s thereafter.
All right, Mark, thank you. Eddie Van Halen, one of the most influential guitar players of the 20th century, has died of cancer at the age of 65. Van Halen is one of the 20 best-selling artists of all time. In 2007, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. As the world of rock mourns his death, Renee Danino from The River 105.9 reflects.
Sometimes when you like a favorite musician, you hear a sound, a chord, a note, whatever it is, and you know it's them. Eddie Van Halen had that. He played one note, one chord, you knew it was Eddie Van Halen.
Former frontman Sammy Hagar tweeted that he is, quote, heartbroken and speechless. Well, Channel 3 is your election authority. The debate stage is set, and tonight the vice presidential candidates will face off. Both Mike Pence and Kamala Harris tested negative for the coronavirus yesterday, but there are still extra safety measures being put in place. Channel 3's Danya Backus has the latest.
After last week's contentious presidential debate,
will you shut up, man? Listen, there's nothing smart about you, Joe.
Mike Pence and Kamala Harris are expected to set a different tone at tonight's vice presidential debate in Utah.
These two candidates are just so completely different than the people at the top of the ticket.
Jason Perry, the director of the Hinckley Institute of Politics at the University of Utah, says this debate takes on extra significance after President Trump's COVID diagnosis.
Anytime you see something like this get to the highest levels of the White House, it becomes something that everyone in the country just wants an answer to.
As a precaution, the candidates and moderator will sit 12 feet apart with plexiglass dividers between them.
Everyone inside the debate hall will be subjected to a variety of health and safety protocols, including COVID testing and mask wearing. If anyone does not wear a mask, officials say they will be escorted out.
Everyone is taking it very seriously.
In addition to the White House COVID outbreak, there's a battle over filling the Supreme Court seat, nationwide racial unrest. On top of that,
we've never had presidential candidates at this age.
The two presidential candidates are the oldest in history.
And now we have two very senior people running for president. And I think there's a real focus on the vice president in a way that we've never seen before.
Today will be the only time the vice presidential candidates take the debate stage. Danya Backus, CBS News, Salt Lake City, Utah.
Well, a new poll suggests that more people are likely to wear a mask following President Trump's coronavirus diagnosis. Roughly 21% of those polled say they are now more likely to wear a mask and maintain a physical distance of at least 6 feet from others. For most people, though, the news has not changed their behaviors and views. 77% say there has been no change in their likelihood to wear a mask or physically distance. Thanks so much for tuning in to Eyewitness News on this Wednesday morning. Remember, you can get news and weather updates anytime on the Channel 3 app. Hope you have a great day.